Call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Mrs. Eldred for announcements of athletic awards.
Hi, thank you. I do want to recognize the Scholar Athletes for the winter season. We had 4 out of the 5 teams this year earn Scholar Athlete, and what that means is they had to have a total average, 75% of the team had to have over a 90 average. So every member of the team will earn a pin. Obviously, a lot of the athletes are at games today, so we have most of our track team and some basketball players, but I will announce the entire team. So first up, I have the girls' basketball, varsity basketball, coached by June Hollick. And we had Sydney Furler, Emma Rumsey, Reagan Kaiser, Marissa Gotchenauer, Olivia Gonzalez, Rayana Quintana, Avery Muscatello, Grace Loretto, and Molly McCarroll on this. So if June could come up and accept the award for her team. Thank you. Sure. The next team that did earn Scholar Athlete team was the boys basketball team. And on that team was Trey Kaufman, Elijah Gonzalez, Cooper Stutz, Frankie Whitemore, Sean Furler, and James Dearman, and Keegan Bagata. So their coach is at the baseball game, so we'll just give that to them later. Also, the boys and girls that did earn the 85 or higher, I gave out at a little award ceremony they did for all the winter sports, and they got T-shirts that said Scholar Athlete on it with on the back and Eldred Yellow Jackets on the front. They were white, so if you were at that, they were here and they did win. Get a little T-shirt. So these boys and girls, these ladies and gentlemen will get a pin. So for the girls' track team, we have Ksenia Sensowski, Lindsay Zagrodik, Alexis Williams, Maddie Bennell, and Erin Brown. So let's have Lindsay just come up and get this for... Miss Drew is covering me at the baseball game. Thank you. For boys wrestling, we did have 2 people. We had Cohen McGill and Luke Potter, but they're both playing baseball games right now, so we'll just give that to Miss Potter in the morning. And then I think that's everyone, right? That was all 4? Yeah. So that was all 4 teams out of the 5 teams. So that's an excellent accomplishment, and hopefully in the spring we'll have more come to the board meeting and we'll have more sports. But we're doing a lot of great things. You know, our softball team just recently won a tournament, and we're doing lots of great things on the tracks and on all the fields. So let's keep the spring sports going and we'll keep moving. Thank you.
Thank you. Didn't Lindsay just break a 47-year record?
Yes.
Lindsay, you just broke a 47-year record, correct? Congratulations. Good for you.
She did a full cycle at tournament too.
Yeah, full cycle at the tournament. You've got, what was it, MVP? You're also first home run? No, not your first home run. Very busy.
Very busy.
And works a part-time job.
Yeah.
And I'm for player of the week, varsity 4-5, so everybody should vote. Varsity 4-5, yeah.
We got varsity 4-5 today for hitter, and so is Frankie Whitemore as well.
Outstanding.
I forget about it.
And I told you what to do the next time they try to walk. You walk across that mountain and hit that ball. Even if it's illegal, just do it. All right, we have a lot to get through tonight. We have the BOCES administration budget. We have our budget. So just bear with me with this, please. Approval upon a recommendation of the superintendent to approve the 2023-2024. Oh, excuse me. If you ladies would like to leave and not be bored the rest of the night, we will not be insulted by no means. Feel free. Take care. Sorry about that. All right, let me get going here. Approve upon the recommendation of superintendent to approve the 2023-2024 Sullivan County Board of Cooperative Educational Services Administration budget in the amount of $3,411,578. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Stacy, motion. Nancy, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I can do that, right, Lisa? Okay. Ballot for election to Board of Cooperative Educational Services. Approval to cast one vote for each of the following vacancies on the Sullivan County Board of Cooperative Educational Service Board. Miss Jackie Rutledge, 3-year term, Sullivan West Central School. I need a motion.
Make the motion.
Stacy made it. Nancy seconded it. All in favor? Aye. Mrs. Carol Bleefnick, 3-year term, Eldred Central School. I need a motion.
Make the motion.
Motion by Stacy, second. Kristen, second. All in favor? Aye. Mrs. Susan Horton, 3-year term, Monticello Central School. I need a motion.
Make the motion.
Stacy made it, second. Nancy, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Anthony Sincor, 3-year term, Liberty Central School. I need a motion.
Make,
Nancy made the motion, second.
second.
Stacy, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval upon the recommendation of superintendent that the following resolution be placed on the May 2023 ballot. The Board of Educational of the Eldred Central School District is hereby authorized to expend for the fiscal year 2023-2024 is hereby adopted and the requisite portion thereof to be raised by taxation on the taxable property of the school district is hereby authorized $19,509,716 to levy tax thereof.
Make the motion.
Second? Nancy, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the ballot authorization of Sunshine Hall Library Proposition 2. Approval upon the recommendation of superintendent that the following resolution be placed on the May 2023 ballot. That the Board of Education of Eldred Central School District is hereby authorized to levy tax annually in the amount of $36,600 and to pay over such monies to the Board of Trustees of the Sunshine Hall Free Library. I need a motion.
Make the motion.
Kristen made the motion. Stacy seconded.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the board seat term change proposition. Approval upon this recommendation of the superintendent that the following resolution be placed on the May 2023 ballot. Shall the following resolution be approved? That the Board of Education of Eldred Central School District hereby adopts at the beginning the 2023 board seat members' terms to be effective with the election held in 2023 and the proposition passes, one seat will be remained unchanged from a 5-year term. Seat number 1, election thereafter, one seat will be changed from a 5-year term to a 4-year term until all 4 seats have been changed to 4-year terms. Seats 2, 3, 4, and 5. At each regular school election, members of the board shall be elected to fill the position of those whose terms will expire. A term of office begins as provided by the law and continues until a successor is elected and qualified. The terms will continue as other successors are elected and qualify their seats. 1 seat for 5 years, 5-year term. Number 1 seat election term expires June 30th, 2023. 4 seats for 4-year term, known as seats 2, 3, 4, and 5 election term seats that will expire June 30th, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027, respectively. I need a motion. Nancy made the motion, second.
Second.
Stacy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of property tax report card. Approval upon the recommendation of superintendent that the Board of Education of Eldred Central School District approve the 2023-2024 property tax report card. Need a motion. Second.
Second.
Motion by Nancy, second by Stacy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We're there. What are you laughing at me for? Did I do okay?
You did awesome. You did awesome. Much better. Yeah.
I was never much of a reader in school. All right, Mrs. Friera, you're up.
All right. So I do want to say congratulations to our winter sports athletes and the scholar athletes. That's the key part. They had great seasons. Accomplishments were well underway with our spring sports, and they're just doing awesome. I have enjoyed watching softball. I'll be honest, I enjoy softball more than baseball, so I do like watching the girls play. So congratulations to our retirees. We have Linda Hayes, and we mentioned it last. We have her letter, so that's on the agenda. Troy Green, Tom Vorstadt, and Harold Rhodes, which we just know as Butch. So, but every time I see a paycheck, I'm like, Harold Rhodes, and I have to remember, it's Butch. So we do have their retirement, and congratulations to them. They have worked diligently and hard, and I know they'll enjoy their retirement, and slightly jealous. Bond project update, we do have new renderings. They are being finalized for the makerspace at GRM and the junior senior high school library. Once I have those, we looked at them Thursday. There just need to be some slight tweaks, but then I will share those once we get the finalized renderings. I do have the finalized renderings for the field house, which I will share with the board. And once I have all the renderings, I will hold design stakeholder meetings so then we can have another critique session, just to make sure that we have everything the way we want it. But we're working towards that. Jed has been working diligently with the COPS grant, and that COPS grant is the grant to increase our safety and security at our school. That's worth $500,000. Now 25% of that COPS grant we have to come up with, and then they cover the 75%. The biggest expenditure of that COP grant so far is we are looking at, for the junior senior high school, this vestibule downstairs. That's a security issue, because once you get into the main, before you even get to the main office, you're already in the building. Mm-hmm. So we did ask for the COPS grant, we are having to send renderings. I will share those with you as well, because what they are envisioning is if you're facing the main entrance of junior senior high school to the right, where it's that little cut out alcove, that will be a secure vestibule, so that students will still have their single point of entry, but then visitors and after school, they have to go through that entry. And it's on, they consider it a, what's the right term, Jed? It's hardened. I don't like using that term. It's a man trap. So you can't get past there. Mm-hmm. We do have something like that at McKenzie. It's a little bit better. We just don't have that. So that's what we're looking at, the COPS grant. Jed has started that process as far as putting it in, and in the next probably couple of days, we'll have the rest of it so that he can finalize that application. I did meet with the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department to start the process of organizing and scheduling an active shooter drill at the junior senior high school on a Saturday in the fall. I sent out survey to the staff members, teachers, staff members, everybody, and just asking if they would be interested. We have half of the faculty and staff saying yes, they would be interested in participating. I gave that number back to the Sullivan County Sheriff, so we're going to start planning that.
Is that something that's going to be open to students as well?
I'm going to do that next. I wanted to make sure I had enough staff members, so even Board of Ed members can take place in it. What the active shooter drills that used to take place in like 2010, 2012, they've changed because they also recognize they no longer use like the flashbang and the smoke, because the flashbang is more like, unfortunately, if somebody's taken hostage, it's not for a shooter drill. So they've altered the training to alter what the actual reality is. It's more, and it also trains the cops, and it trains the different agencies. We're also going with part of the active shooter drill is looking how 911 is contacted and their response time. So it's not just us going through this training, it's a lot of different agencies. That's why we're starting the talk now, because it does take up to 6 months to plan it. The bigger, the more agencies, like I know they did one at Livingston Manor and it took 10 months to plan. So it's a lot of different things. We are talking about the budget. Caleb is going to go through his proposed budget, so I'm going to let him go through that. The last thing I did get notified, And this is actually for Stacy. And I'm just going to read the letter. It says, and this was sent to us by NYSBA, the New York State School Boards Association recognition program is designed to acknowledge those school board members who strive to continually expand their governance knowledge and skills. So our records indicate that Stacy Kuhn has earned one of our board achievement awards. You are a level 2. This program is designed to acknowledge school board members who strive to continually expand their governance knowledge and skills. It's comprised of 4 achievement levels that are reached by accumulating points for participating in NYSBA training, workshops, events, and activities. And so we want to present to you this Board of Excellence Award.
Thank you. Very nice.
So that concludes my
Thank you.
report.
That means you have to run again.
I thought it was an award and not a punishment.
All right, any questions for Ms. Ferrer from the board? All good?
All good.
All right. Mr. Conklin.
Thank you, Mr. Halleck. So first and foremost, I do want to say that with the COPS grant, and to me and Mrs. Ferrer, it's really important that we put safety at the forefront, and we're really doing that. So I appreciate everybody's support as we, figure out new ways to make this building safer. So thank you. So here's my report. The third marking period ended on March 31st. The report cards were published on Tuesday, April 11th. We do have plans to have a little ceremony for principal's list, high honor roll in the lunchrooms. I think this coming Friday, ice cream sandwiches for the kids, which they always like. So we have that planned. New York State grade 7 and 8 ELA testing was completed last week on the 19th and 20th. Testing went very smoothly, and I really appreciate everyone's help and professionalism during the process. Our math tests are going to take place on Tuesday, May 2nd and Wednesday, May 3rd. Mr. Jennings is not happy with me because that's right before the 8th grade Washington, D.C. trip, but, that's the testing window that we had, so it's okay. I want to thank Mr. Latini and our art students who had their artwork displayed at the Countywide Art Show at Bethel Woods on Thursday, April 13th. All students did a wonderful job, but 3 of our students were recognized for their achievements. We had Gwen Anderson for Drawing Color, Artist Choice Award, and then Drawing Black and White, Student Choice Award. We also had Tammy Callahan, Drawing Black and White for the Artist Choice Award, and Autumn Walsh for the Digital Art Artist Choice Award and Student Choice Award. I wanted to let the board know, please note that Sullivan County BOCES contacted us that they scheduled a recognition night for the same night we had our junior senior high school recognition night scheduled. So that's June 1st. We're switching our recognition night to June 6th, Tuesday, June 6th. So that's going to be reflected on the calendar. Just some upcoming dates and reminders. Our juniors are going to SUNY New Paltz on Thursday for a college fair. I believe there's like 42 colleges, Ms. Karen said today, I think, that are going to be there. So pretty exciting. Monday, May 1st, some of our students are going on the Law Day field trip. They're going to Sullivan County Courthouse for their annual Law Day. Thursday, May 4th to Saturday, May 6th is the 8th grade Washington trip. Monday, May 8th, the 7th graders are going to Bethel Woods for an assembly. It's a performance by Soul Inscribed. Wednesday, May 10th, we're doing STAR testing, and Wednesday, May 17th, we're doing a SAD presentation, and students will attend an assembly by Mr. Stephen Emth. Thursday, May 18th is our VOTEC Honor Society ceremony. Saturday, May 20th is our prom at the Villa Roma. And Thursday, May 25th and Friday, May 26th, we're going on the senior trip to Pocono Valley. So definitely a couple busy months coming up, but all good stuff. Very excited. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Conklin. Any questions for Mr. Conklin from the board? All good? Student report. Destiny, you're up.
Honor Society recently held a blood drive where they collected 16 units. So this means that one of their members on the Honor Society will be receiving a scholarship. Juniors Honor Society is going to be starting to help clean up the garden to make it look pretty again. Lindsay Zagrotic recently broke the school record for shot put. Trey Kaufman, Cooper Stutz, and Thais have come in first, second, and third place the last 2 dual meets. Varsity Club is still collecting sneakers for their recycling program. And recently we had the promposal contest. Mackenzie Denlinger and Patty Adams won first place. Emma Amato and Pearl Smith came in third, and Ethan Williams in second. Prom tickets are also going to be going on sale soon. They're going to be $60 each. Prom is May 20th at the Villa Roma from 6:30 to 10:30. And I would like to say congratulations to Lindsay Zagrotic and Sydney Friller for both hitting their first home runs this season. That concludes my report.
That's it? Any questions for her? All good? Thank you, Destiny. Mr. Carpentier.
Thank you, Mr. Halleck, Board of Ed, audience. I'd just like to say that our attendance continues to improve. We're up now over 92% for the school year, and it continues to improve. We've increased every single month since January. I do expect the attendance to fall right around that 93 to 94% range, which is great. Another good news, we started the school year with 240 students enrolled at GRM. We are now at 241. We are positive as one additional student than when we started the school year. At our lowest point this year, we were at 233. So that's heading in the right direction with students coming. And we've actually just had a number of families from the Homestead who are going to be bringing their students to GRM next year. And that's really great for us. We're implementing really great reading in the units of study to improve literacy outcomes. We're looking at the vocabulary piece for the intermediate grade levels next year for really great reading. And we're going to be performing 2 site visits to elementary schools that use the units of study for writing. And that's going to be really helpful for our staff to be able to see it in action and discuss with other staff members, their colleagues, their peers who have been doing the units of study for a number of years and have seen its success. Summer school will be from July 10th to August 3rd. It's Monday through Thursday, pre-K through 6th grade. Letters will go out to parents this week. And positions and placements for summer school have been approved or will be approved shortly here from the Board of Ed. Our ELA state testing is also complete. We finished our last makeup test this morning for ELA. Math is set to begin next week as well, May 2nd and 3rd. Miss G in 6th grade is very upset because I always choose the first 2 dates to administer the test, and she thinks a couple extra days would be helpful. But it really is helpful for us to administer the test because there are issues at times with our computer-based testing, not from us, but from the state. It went down yesterday, yeah. So it's always better to get ahead of it so we don't have to hurry up and rush any of the tests for the majority of our students. We still are performing targeted enrichment before school for students 3rd through 6th grade, which will run through June. The Leader in Me framework, teachers and staff were able to meet with a Leader in Me coach and consultant on May 11th. They were able to ask and have answered questions about Leader in Me and the new framework that we'll be providing for our SEL development at GRM as well as a junior senior high school. The Lighthouse Committee, which is a committee that's going to help implement Leader in Me, continues to meet and develops their plan for implementation. Clubs, we have 20 clubs in the spring, which is the most clubs we've ever offered. We have 202 kids enrolled in clubs, which is 84% of Mackenzie's population. That's also the highest we've ever had. I'm really, really proud of that. It gives students an opportunity. For example, we have an improvisation club, we have a readers theater club, a STEAM club, a baking club, a football club. If your child is interested in something, we probably have the club for it. So it's pretty awesome. The Fine Arts, our spring concert is set for Tuesday, May 23rd. I met with a community member who's interested in bringing drama options back to GRM. It may be in the form of a play, it may be in the form of a club. That's something we're still discussing. And then also our student artwork at GRM was also displayed at the Countywide Art Show, but elementary students do not get judged. They're just displayed. The Student Council continues to develop ideas for Field Day in May. One of the big ideas they've come up with is a board game theme, like a giant chess game or tic-tac-toe, and Mr. Keese will come up with a number of ideas to make it appropriate for pre-K through 6th grade. And they also, the Student Council always comes up with new ideas for the cafeteria, from hot sauce for popcorn chicken to strawberry milk. They're always coming up with great ideas. They're not always implemented, but I see June shaking her head. And I'd just like to end that we've had some great success with some of our field trips through Bethel Woods. We had the John Lennon project with our 4th and 5th graders developing, they were able to develop their own and write their own songs, and that was done by Sullivan County artists that came into GRM, and that was a great success. And I spoke about this earlier, Bethel Woods Story Pirates for 4th and 5th grade as well. So it's been nice to integrate ourselves back with Bethel Woods again when that wasn't where we had just, had lost that a little bit through the pandemic, but we're getting back to how we were operating in early 2020 and 2019. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Carpentier. Any questions? That's great about them clubs.
Yeah.
That really, 80, what do you say, 84%?
84%.
84%. That's awesome. It gives the kids something to do after school besides walk the streets and get in trouble. Seriously.
We have a dance club, a Lego club. It's pretty awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Krebs.
Hey, Mr. Alec, how are you?
For you.
All right. So the clubs, you witness it firsthand when you show up about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and see all the kids coming from all over because parents are picking them up. So it's a little different than the after school with the buses. So you got all the parents there to pick them up, but it's great.
We do it under 10 minutes.
Yeah, he gets it done quicker than the buses, I think. So our conference day was moved from March 17th to May 26th. So the weekend before Memorial Day weekend, that Friday will be a conference day here. We'll be hosting it at the elementary school on that date. That's the second half of our Leader in Me training. Also that day on I talked about rooms training. So if you see the word rooms, a couple of us here know what they are. On our new website, Apogee, you get a room as a place to post your information. So that day on May 26th, we're going to provide training to our staff on how to organize their rooms. And when you hear rooms, that's their location on the website. Along with that, Apogee is becoming a one-stop for everything. So when you're getting phone calls from delays or information from the school, we're now utilizing a portion of that through our Apogee website. And I just found out I had one of the first meetings with Apogee today. They have another platform on their webpage that's called Engage. And we'll be utilizing Engage to send out newsletters. So I'm going to be the first one to try to figure that out, but it's a platform similar to many of you might have S'mores as a platform for sending out newsletters. Parent Square is another that some schools use. Apogee is now developing one that they anticipate it being up and ready to be used clearly by September, but they're hoping it'll be much sooner in the month of May. So I got an overview of it. It's very simple to use, just like all the other newsletters. They can provide any type of directions that you can use. You just cut and paste. And so which is nice about this is that Apogee already has a lot of our logos and information, so we can pick information directly from our website and put it into newsletters. So that platform is called Engage. And lastly, Tri-State, our Tri-State Consortium. We've been an ex officio member for the last 2 years, and we're looking to become a member going into next year. And we have a group of leaders from the Tri-State that will be giving us we'll have a meeting with them. So I guess they're going to listen. Tracy had been excellent about putting together a overview of our district for them, and the initial feedback was very positive, so I was happy to hear about that, and we're hoping that that meeting goes well and we'll be able to continue our membership with Tri-States going forward. That's all I have to
And to tag on to the messaging with Apogee, Lisa and I, for this year, you probably have gotten 2 phone calls, 2 alerts, 2 everything, because we wanted to see if there were any gaps between School Messenger and Apogee. We're not seeing any gaps. We're actually seeing Apogee work quicker and more efficiently. So next year, we're going to get rid of School Messenger, cut that service, saves money, and just use Apogee, because we just kept both of them this year just to make sure there were no gaps. And we can also, it's just easier. It's one-stop shop. We can do it just from our phones. Mm-hmm. So next year you won't get the duplicates, or in some cases triplicates and quadruples. Mm-hmm. So it'll be tailored down. So next year it'll be 1.
Thank you, Mr. Krebs. Any questions, Mr. Krebs? All good. Very good. Mr. Russell, it's time to shine.
All right, let's see what we got here. This is nothing really changed here, so that's good. So this is going to be our 23-24 proposed budget. I sat down with Tracy and I kind of wanted to give people an idea of when we sit down and do the budget, what kinds of things we take into consideration. You know, this year, we're not looking to add anything beyond what we've already got. We just want to continue the growth and support in all of our academic areas. Now, our test scores have been, they're not embargoed anymore, right? Okay, so our test scores have improved markedly. We're second in the county, and we want to continue that. You always want to provide students with a safe and high quality learning environment. Now, Jed, I actually believe, I want to correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't want to interrupt anybody. The application's done. Am I correct? All I've got to do is hit submit. I went and looked at it. So for the COPS grant, that application is actually complete. So it'd be $500,000 from the federal government, 125 we'd have to find of our own for 625. The vestibule is the big ticket item, but we still have a fair amount of money left over for a number of other initiatives, safety-wise. We want to continue and support the growth in regards to students' mental health and well-being, support our educators providing a good professional development program, ensure the continued fiscal health of the district, and we are always mindful of the impact of tax increases. I want to remind everybody, this is the first time we're going to the cap in quite a long time. We don't like to if we don't have to. We do try to work around that. Our revenue this year, the cap is 3.7%. Now that's not what people's taxes will get hit. Their taxes will get hit 2.7% because 1% is from growth. That gives us the $448,000. The reason we need to go to the cap is because the state has once again given us, close to nothing for the second year in a row in state aid. So you see all this foundation aid that everybody's getting, we're not getting it. We get the minimum 3%. But because we've been growing, which is a good thing, we've had a lot of new properties come on the tax rolls over the years, but they keep continuing to say, well, now you're more and more land wealthy. So they gave us $100,000 in foundation aid and then took $100,000 of transportation, building, and BOCES aid away for pretty much a net. We get $34,000 more. So most of our growth, we're only increasing the budget 2.75%, but we have to raise taxes 3.7 because we got nothing extra from the state. So pretty much all of our increase has to come on the tax side. This is just a little pie chart which will be on the web for everybody to show that 64% of our money comes from property taxes, 31% from state aid, 4% other, that's interest, a BOCES refund, and then pilots, which we have 2 at the moment. The Millennium Pipeline gives us a pilot, and then we get a pilot from the Eldred Preserve. The Millennium Pipeline pilot ends next year. So we'll tackle that when it comes next year. We might want to go to the tax cap again, but that's because the pipeline's going on the tax rolls. So even going to the cap next year, I suspect, and I'll calculate before we talk about that people's taxes will go down, even going to the cap. And then reserves, just so you know, we're not operating on the reserves. Those reserves are to pay for the retirements we just announced. So we have something called the Employee Benefit Leave Reserve. That's money we put aside already for when people retire to pay out the sick and vacation time. So I always take out of that to pay because we put into that for that reason. And it's 0.5% of our, but that's all the reserves we're using. This, in case anybody's interested, and I'll put on the website, is how the property tax cap is calculated. All right, so you start with last year's taxes. This, the tax-based growth factor, that's new property. So it's 0.98%, just shy of 1%. That does not end up increasing your property taxes because the new buildings pick that up. Then your pilots, you add, you take them out. Your exemptions, that's your debt. So that's how a bond would hit us, and that's what they mean by tax neutral, is that this number will be the same after the new bond. So it'll be, right around $785,000 will be the exemption amount, which means we won't increase taxes on the bond. That won't happen for another 4 years, but that's how that kind of gets in there. For now, next week, because we've got a board meeting coming up real soon, that's the public hearing, because we have to get that done within 10 days. I will give, the normal chart I give where, this is a $100,000 house, this is a $200,000 house. But for now, just so anybody can calculate, it's about $32 annually per $100,000 that your house is worth. So a $200,000 house should see $64 increase on taxes. So we are still kind of keeping that in mind. We're keeping that down. And hopefully we'll be able to keep it down in the future. Our expenditure budgets, where is it all going? General support, why is that going up 4.56%? General support's where a lot of your energy costs go in. That's fuel oil, electricity, phone. It is your admin, but it's also, you know, your equipment, your cleaning supplies, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of where inflation is taking its biggest toll. Instruction's only going up 1.51%. The major rider there is we have savings from retirements, but then we have increase in career and technical expenditures. Transportation's going up 2%. That's about right in line with your normal inflation. Employee benefits are going up quite a bit, almost 5%. That is, our health insurance is going up 5%. Our workers' comp is going up like 20%. Our New York State ERS and TRS are all going up about 3 to 4%. So basically every benefit that there is taking a hit this year. I'm going to guess that's because the stock market didn't have the best year. With health insurance, it has a little bit more to do with claims. Transfers, this is money into school lunch fund. I put an extra $20,000 into the school lunch fund. Because we had all those years of deficits, you're supposed to have taxpayer approval for every dollar that goes into the cafeteria fund, into it from here. So basically there's a loan to the cafeteria fund from the general fund that I have to pay back over time. So we have to put more money in from the general fund to kind of cover the past years. The other thing is, and this is strange, this doesn't normally happen, our state budget is still not approved. In the state budget, they are proposing a free lunch program. But because it's not passed, I don't know what that looks like. I know that when we're in CEP program, but during COVID, when they fully funded us for free lunch programs, we were doing surpluses every year. We didn't have to take anything from the general fund if we didn't want to. I don't know how robust theirs is going to be. So that's one caveat where we could end up with extra money. Like if they pass that and it's almost or near as generous as the COVID time, I'm not going to need to put that $150,000, I'm sorry, it's over here, $150,000 into the school lunch fund because I'm going to have a lot of money. But I'm conservative, so until they pass it and I know, I'm going to plan that I have to put that money in there. But that could be some additional money. Our debt is about the same. This is just kind of our breakdown. Instruction, which it should be, is the biggest portion of our expenditures. If it's not, then you're not a very good school. And then employee benefits, which are mostly related to instruction. Between the two of them, that's 80% of our expenditures. We're right in the middle on general support. That's your admin costs. Schools are usually between 10 and 15. We're at 12.9, so we're like kind of smack dab in the middle, which isn't bad. And our debt is at 7.92%. That's pretty good, actually. That's not bad. Usually they're in the 10, 12% range. So we've kept that down. The major cost drivers, which I kind of already went over, that's the increased career and technical expenditures, workers' comp, health insurance, energy cost. Everybody knows, I know, ad nauseum, but that's the way it is. And then related services for special education have gone up quite a bit, and ERS and TRS. Are there any questions on the budget? Because it has not changed since our last meeting. We were actually pretty spot on with what we wanted to present.
Any questions for? I think we're pretty good.
Okay, so I got 3 more items. Quick ones. Number 2, our preliminary projections for this year are, I'm thinking we're going to have a $200,000 surplus. So we budgeted 18.9 million in expenditures. I think we're going to come at 18.85, which is like really right on for the expenditures, but we're going to make about $200,000 more than what I had anticipated. So we should be about like 19 million too. That's because of the BOCES refund and interest. I only budgeted $15,000 in interest for this year, mostly because I didn't know that the Fed was going to start raising it at a ridiculous clip. But we're going to earn closer to $200,000 in interest. Now, it doesn't all go in the general fund. You have to allocate it. So our reserve fund's 1.5 million. I've got to allocate a portion to there. So that's why we're not going to be more than 200,000 over. But we made a lot of interest this year, which is good. Unappropriated reserves. So you're going to be voting on this in a minute. In there, I am moving over to our reserves. We have, over the last few years, had way more than we're supposed to in our unappropriated reserves. So I moved $1,565,000 into the capital fund, which we voted on in December. And then I am recommending that you place $154,252 in the retirement contribution reserve, 150 in the employee benefit and leave reserve. That's going to be to replenish the money that we've spent out on retirements already. And then another 100,000 into TRS. The max you can put into TRS is 120 in each year. So New York says you can put in 2% of all of the teacher salaries combined each year up to a maximum of 10. So that brings us down to, that'll bring us down to 4.51%. And the reason I didn't go straight down to 4 is because I don't know exactly where we're going to end up on this year, and I figured we could put the rest in July, because I don't want to end up lower. And the reason why is, you know, the state fiscal score that they give us every year, so there's a bunch of different metrics they use. One, we're going to get 7 points for. So if you have one deficit in the last 3 years, they give you 7 points. How the accounting for moving money into the capital reserve fund is done is they consider it an expenditure. So it goes on an expenditure line, and it's going to show as a $1.565 million deficit. A planned one we had voted on. So that's going to give us 7 points. 25 points is, you don't get a designation until you hit 25 points, so that'll give us a 7. The other one is you get 0 points if you're between 3 and 4%. So I don't want to go below that because I don't want any more points than the 7. I want to keep us off the list and with minimal points. After 3 years, if I do everything right, and I will, we'll go back down to 0 points. Because after 3 years, you won't have any more deficit years. I'm only planning on the year that we transfer all the money into the capital fund. The reason why I'm picking these reserves is unemployment. Even when the year that we had to let go of people, 8 people, we paid $26,000 in unemployment. Right now our unemployment reserve is $160,000, and they had a tax credit during COVID for that. And how they do it for our schools is they give you a credit because we're a not-for-profit, so they don't just give you cash. We still have a $25,000 credit. So it's like, I've got $190,000 worth of unemployment credit, and in the worst year of terminations, I spent 20 grand. So I'm like, I don't need that reserve anymore. Workers' comp, our reserve is $350,000 right now, but we're self-insured. And in our self-insured account, we have another $400,000. Our worst year in the last 20 years was $387,000, and I've got $700,000 in my reserves. So I don't need any more in workers' comp. So that's why I'm putting in those reserves. And those reserves you can kind of get at. They're pretty liquid. You can use them to pay your annual retirement bills. So if we had to, God forbid, get to them, all you do is you pay your TRS and ERS bills with that money instead, and then use that money from the budget on whatever else you needed to do. And then finally, oh no, I already told you that. That's it, I'm done. The state budget's not done. If you have any questions, I'll answer them.
I think we're good. Thank you, Caleb.
Yeah. All right.
So it sounds good for our budget. I mean, I don't see anything, out of the ordinary, so that's looking good. What did you say we were second in the county with?
For test scores.
Oh, our test scores.
Really?
Yeah.
We're right behind Livingston Manor.
Our state test scores are up to that. Yeah.
That's all good stuff for us. It really is.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say the math scores were 220 or something in the state?
Yes.
And that's out of 680 schools that we're moving up that list. Obviously the goal is #1.
Perfect.
But
First we want to be #1 in the county.
Right.
And then we go from there.
Right.
Take out Livingston Manor.
That's right.
Small steps.
Small steps.
but my point is we made a big improvement.
It's a big smack.
Starting here.
Good. We've already elaborated on the sports. I think that's good stuff. And, the kids that are playing sports are on honors roll and principals lists, and so you see the grades aren't going down. The clubs are a good thing. I mean, it's all good stuff that's happening here at Eldred for a little school. So, which brings me to, we're still going to look at the hockey or the ice skating rink, right?
Yep.
So I've been attending some softball games down here at the bottom field. I was here last night. I've been here for the modified games. And hear a little scuttlebucket about, we're investing all this money up top. Can we do anything down here? And I know you and I had a short conversation about it. So here's what I'm willing to do. I think I could get some volunteers. I'll bring my equipment down, and if we could just buy the clay, if we could do the field down here for just the clay cost, I think we could get volunteers, and I'll bring my equipment down. I think we could fix the field up for very minimal cost. So I think we should maybe consider that. Too late now, you know, but I think we should consider that for the next season. Nobody has a problem with that?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, so we'll look into that. I know we're looking into trying to get the Sunday league back or the Saturday league back for the little guys for basketball, you know, of course, all kids, you know, girls and boys. And I think Amanda talked about that, correct, June? It was something I was gonna start to do. I talked to my daughter and son-in-law, see if they would volunteer, and I was gonna volunteer, imagine me running up and down the court. People think there's an earthquake out there. But I know Amanda's running with it, so, but, you know, we're here to help. So I just think it's all good stuff, I really do. I don't hear anything negative in the town, because I always got my ear to the ground in the town and around, and I know Kristen's around a lot, and I'm sure you're not hearing anything negative either. So it's all good stuff. So with all that being said, we will move on.
And along with the possible ice rink, Amanda came to me and she wants to, and I told her yes, to look at possibly doing the pickleball stripes on the tennis court.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, again, it's another way to get community here. Kids love pickleball, and it gets the tennis courts used. So we're also gonna look at that and the cost up over the summer, try to get that done as well.
You know what's funny is the ice rink, I brought it up at the business officials meeting. You know, a lot of the business officials live in our district, and they remembered that, and they said they wouldn't mind there being an ice rink here.
Yeah. I think it would be a good thing.
I do too.
All right, brings us to approval of consent items. I need a motion to approve consent items 7.01 through 10.08. I know, but I have to get a motion first, and then I'll make the change. Motion to approve consent items 7.01 through 10.08.
I'll make the motion.
Second? There is discussion on it. There's been a type mistake here. Michelle Kaiser, as far as summer school for cafeteria work, she's no longer employed here. It's Amy Tofano.
What number is that?
That is 9.06.
106. Who's not here?
Michelle Kaiser.
And it's Amy Tufano.
Tufano.
Amy Tufano.
I believe that is the only change that I have. Everybody else had a chance to review it, correct? So I will take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That is done. Good with that, Lisa? Good? Old business. Any old business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board? Did I miss a public comment here someplace? I did.
Yes, you did.
I did miss that. Huh? No, I'm there at the second one now. I'm at the second one now.
That's what made him realize the first one.
I did. I'm gonna back up the public comment on the consent agenda only. Now I will go to the public comment on anybody that wants to talk about something. I'm sorry about that. A lot going on here tonight. No public comment? All good? All right.
Oh, nice.
Very good. Moving on to, I'm sure it's executive session, but. I need a motion to enter an executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Second? Motion by Kristen, second by Nancy. Next meeting will be held Thursday, May 4th, 2023, junior senior high school at 6 p.m. This will be a budget hearing and regular meeting. There will be no meet the candidate introduction prior to the board meeting. We are entering into the executive session for litigation and contracts, correct?
Correct.
Thank you for coming, and we are all set.
All right.
If anybody wants to meet the candidates, me.
Yeah.